Right, now we come to chapter 30, which is Ar-Rum. Ar-Rum, as I said, starts with Alif Lam Mim, and perhaps is an abbreviation of Baqarah and Ali Imran. Again, this is highly speculative. You can test it out for yourself. The beginning of Ar-Rum talks about people who are not mentioned anywhere else, the Rum. I do not accept the historical meaning of this, which is the Byzantine Empire. The Quran is not a book of history. I believe that this refers to people with a desire or a wish. So in this case it talks Ar-Rum specifically for this wish, which is a wish for success. The Quran is about signs. You experience it as you experience it in your daily life. This is not a book of history. So here we start, the chapter starts with Ghulibatul Rum, the wishful ones, they have been defeated. وفي أدنى الأرض وهم من بعد غلابهم سيغلبون, in the lowest earth. So where is this lowest earth? Well, I believe that it refers to the lowest rung of society. Al-Ard is used many times to show the makeup of human society, and these people, they are in that low level. But within a few years they will be successful. And it continues to say within a few years, so it emphasizes that, and it says with Allah is the decision of the past and the future. And this is the interesting part. It says وَيَوْمَئِذٍ يَفْرَحُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. So here we can see that the mu'minun, those who believe, they will be rejoicing with this. Why? Because it is them. It refers to them. And it says بِنَصْرِ يَنْصُرُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. With the help of Allah, He helps those whom He wills. وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الرَّحِيمُ. Aziz al-Rahim. We have witnessed this in chapter 26. هُوَ Aziz al-Rahim, repeated several times. So here we can see it again. So the mu'mineen, they receive Nasrullah, the help of Allah. And here obviously it can't be the Romans. Why would the Romans get the help of Allah? Again, you see, if you read the Quran with the correct mindset, what happens is everything will fit. You will have your lisanun arabiyyun mubin. Yeah. So, and it says وَعْدَ اللَّهِ, that's verse 6. وَعْدَ اللَّهِ لَا يُخْلِفُ اللَّهُ وَعْدَهُ. So with the help of this is a promise of Allah, and Allah does not renege on His promise. Where is His promise? We saw it in verse 24, chapter 24, verse 55. وَعْدَ اللَّهِ, Allah has promised those who believe and do righteous deeds that they will achieve istiqlal fil ard. So here we can see a corroboration of that point. Then it continues, it goes on to talk about doing tafakkur in our nafs. Now why is this nafs mentioned at this point? Well, we've seen in chapter 13 verse 11, chapter 8 verse 53, that the nafs is the fulcrum of change. That is, if you enact upon the nafs, you will introduce change. So this is it. This is the methods are being given here. Then Allah is talking about traveling through the earth and several other forms of natural metaphors. That's from verses 8 onwards up to verses 20, where Allah gives a set of verses talking about His signs. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ. Allah is giving you signs upon signs upon signs. So here, from the state of defeat, if you want to go back to the state of victory, you must observe the signs. Another interesting point is verse 30 itself, which talks about, sorry, we shouldn't start with verse 30, we should start with verse 28, which says that Allah propounds you a similitude from your nafs. Do you have partners from whom your right hands possess to share as equals in wealth? Or do you fear them as you fear each other? So this is a metaphor which Allah is telling you. And Allah says, those who have been oppressive, they follow their hawa, or their delusions, without knowledge. So how do we counter this? Following our hawa. Well, in chapter 5 verse 48, it tells us to judge with al-kitab. Ahkum bil-kitab bil-haq. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا أَهْوَاءَهُمْ. And do not follow their lusts. Allah is telling the messenger this. But here it talks to the reader and says in verse 30, وَأَقِيمْ وَجْهَكَ لِلدِّينِ حَنِيفًا. So set your expression to the deen which is fully inclined. So you're fully inclining yourself to Allah. And this is Allah's pattern of creation. You see? So this is what we need to do. We need to take us back to Dini Hanifa. Understand Ibrahim's pattern. Ibrahim is Hanifa Musliman. So we need to understand Ibrahim's pattern and follow it. And it says, Munibina ilayhi wattaquhu. Therefore, turn back to Allah. Yeah, turn back. Anab is to turn back to Allah. And do not be from the mushrikeen. As we've seen, the mushrikeen, they cause mischief on the earth. That's chapter 8/9. Then it talks about those who farraku dinahum. They break up this. So Ibrahim's system is being broken up now. And when they do that, they become shia'an, or sects. And each of the hizb is the sect, but already in a state of confrontation. They become self-glorifying in their sectarianism. So after that, our room goes again into natural metaphors. So it's now alternating between human beings, natural metaphors, human beings, natural metaphors, until it comes to the end, where it says, وَلَقَدْ ضَرَبْنَا لِلنَّاسِ فِي هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ مِنْ كُلِّ مَثَلٍ. Again, it repeats, verily we have propounded or imparted to mankind in this Quran from every kind of similitude. So everything that God needs to say by way of similitude has been said here. And that's what we need to take into account. We need to interpret the Quran as a closed system. And it says, كَذَلِكَ, Allah seals up the hearts of those who understand not. So if we try to open up the Quran to external similitudes, this does not mean that we cannot think with other thought patterns. But when we think about the Quran needs to be closed up as a system. Then it says, فَأَصْبِرْ إِنَّ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ حَقًّا. Be patient and perseverant. Verily Allah's promise is true. So this is it. We need to keep hoping, as the people of the room. That's what they do. They kept up their hope. They kept up the wish for the Nasrullah, and they were given it. And so Allah gave you as well a set of instructions to follow in order to achieve Nasrullah, or the help of Allah. Another interesting section to read will be chapter 110, which is called Al-Fath, which talks about the Nasrullah, or the help of Allah. So with that, we move on to chapter 31, Luqman.